Good evening, guys, and happy Saturday to all of your sunshiny faces. Oh my goodness, guys. There was snow outside this morning. Like, it was snowing late last night before I went to bed. And it was still, there was snow on the ground. And I think it's still on the ground, actually, outside today. On top of that, like, up on, like, the roofs and stuff like that. I think I maybe mentioned it in yesterday's vlog. I was like, I saw that it just started snowing, but it was, like I said, it's stuck, and there was still snow outside today. So that stunk because, like, last week, actually, it was funny because of they had like the family weekend at Matthew's fraternity, and so they had it, like I said, they had it today, and so we ended up going. But last weekend would have been absolutely perfect because it was so nice outside, because Matthew had mentioned something like, oh, we were hoping if the weather was nice that we'd be able to do like have bags set up outside, you know, or something, you know, and just let people sort of mingle outside as well. But it was so cold. They did like a demonstration for their like tugs, which is like basically like tug of war, but like it's like, I didn't realize it was that extreme. Like, when I think of tug of war, like, we had like a sort of tug of war in like elementary school. They did it as like a competition, but you know, like, everybody sort of just like, you know, stood up and, you know, sort of just tried to pull on the rope and everything like that. They dig trenches. They have this whole like thing that they do for it, and so yeah, they did like a demonstration for that, and they also took a picture outside, and that was the amount of time we spent outside today. And I tell you guys, I am still freezing cold. I'm still trying to warm up. When we actually took the picture, I think it started snowing again. Like, it was very, very light, but I was like, I think that it's actually snowing. So that was fun today, though. I woke up pretty much, I warmed up the mac and cheese in the oven, which, to be totally honest, it probably, maybe, possibly didn't actually need to happen that way, only because so we got there and like, we put the food out or whatever, and I thought sort of like we were gonna start eating sort of, you know, or just like let people start eating sort of whenever, but they waited and they ended up doing the auction first, which was like to raise money basically for their fraternity, but you know, they, you know, just asked for donations of like gifts and stuff like that to sort of, again, like raffle off and everything, or, you know, not raffle, but, you know, auction off. My mom ended up sort of doing a little thing. It was sort of like a woman's, like, you know, like it was slippers and like some like sort of like jewelry things, and a gift card for ice cream, and so that was, you know, like I said, what we ended up doing. And there was a handful of, again, other ones. They said that they raised the most money, I think, that they've ever raised at all, because of the amount of people that showed up, but also the amount of baskets that they ended up bringing in, like donations, or like, you know, baskets to auction off. So we actually ended up getting one, which was amazing. So like, anyways, back to the mac and cheese story real quick. So they did that first. So my mac and cheese was sort of cold almost, really, by the time it was sort of served. It wasn't like freezing cold, but it was like, I don't know, sort of like lukewarm room temperature-ish. It wasn't like, you know, I don't want to say piping hot, but it wasn't, again, like the warmest that's, you know, I guess pasta can be. But honestly, I had that and like it tasted amazing. They had so much food too, like it was crazy. So like, and I thought like they weren't gonna have maybe as much food, or, you know, like something like that. I was totally surprised. They had 3 tables worth of food set up, plus they had their kitchen actually too, had like a like all the crock pots and stuff like that were set up in there, because like they had so many people bring crock pots. But they had it because of you know, like they could plug stuff in there, and then in their like main sort of like space in the basement, they had like the tables all set up. And so, like I said, that's where we set our stuff up. But like, it was so much food. It was probably like, at least including all this stuff in the the kitchen to like 4+ tables worth of food. And so anyways, like I said, you know, we brought that and the cookies as well. And so then I ended up just leaving because there was probably almost like a half pan. Like I felt like there was way too much food almost for the amount of people that were there. Like I probably could have just done 1 half pan and been fine. But we brought 2 and there was still pretty much almost a pan left. Like because I set up both of them at the same time. One was pretty much like gone through maybe a little bit more than the other one, but equaled out. I think it was probably about almost a half pan that was left anyway. Some people brought the food like back home or whatever, but I was like, you know, some people left it too, so I was just like, I don't feel like bringing it back home. You guys can keep that. Everybody that is, you know, like living in the house, I guess they all get food for probably the next couple days. So anyways, like, you know, all of their mom's home cooking and stuff like that. But in the auction, we ended up actually winning which was weird. It was the second to last basket they ended up doing, and the amount of stuff that was actually in the basket, like honestly, should have probably, at least in my opinion, been worth way more, because my mom, when I was little, she used to sell Tastefully Simple, which was absolutely amazing. Their beer bread was phenomenal. And for the longest time, like my mom stopped selling it for a while, but we would occasionally still order and stuff like that through, again, either people my mom knew or, you know, just catalogs and stuff like that. And so, but then after that, I thought that like my mom said something like they went out of business, or maybe I even tried to look it up. And I think what I did was I looked it up, but I tried to find up like a copycat recipe instead of buying the actual like bread mix. For the beer bread, which is absolutely phenomenal. And with this like spinach dip, those 2 things together are like the heaven. Which was actually funny because that was one of the like appetizer things that was out, and so my mom was like, told Matthew, she's like, you need to find out whose mom sells that, and so we can buy some more from her, because it's amazing. Like, it is phenomenal. But I think, like I said, I know recently I looked up because I wanted that recipe for the spinach dip and the like the beer bread, and because I didn't think for some reason like they sold it anymore, and like when I typed it in, one of the main things that was coming up was like copycat recipe, so I sort of thought that they didn't sell it anymore. But when we went there today, like I said, they had somebody brought a basket worth of, you know, the stuff to like raffle off, and we got it for only 50 bucks. And honestly, the bread mix alone that we got is $10 normally. Like I know too, it had the like some of the seasoning mixes. It had the like some of the, I think it was like wing sauce. There was like, again, a handful of other things in there, probably maybe like 8 or so like different things in there. And I was like, honestly, normally at like most they're about $10 each, like each different sort of, you know, thing that was in there, and again, about 8 of them worth. And so I was like, honestly, to me that's worth, like, you know, and at an auction that's raising money for, you know, their fraternity and stuff like that, you know, I feel like, again, you probably overpay maybe a little bit more than what some of this stuff is possibly worth. So personally, I would have thought that the basket would have went up to like $100 or so, but we ended up getting it for $50. We were the only people that bid on it, and I was like, honestly, like, there must be a lot of people here that have never had that, because they would know what that is worth. Like, it being that amazing, like I said, and knowing like what was in it too, when they were like, oh, like it's the, you know, they just called it the bread basket. They didn't actually say Tastefully Simple. And when I was like looking really close, I was like, I genuinely, because they read it off and they said, oh, this is a beer bread mix or something like that, and I was like, I know what bread that's from. And then when they ended up saying, like, they never said the name, but I was looking really close and we were kind of further back, and so I was like, I really think that that says Tastefully Simple. I leaned over to my mom and she's like, I'm bidding on that one. So she did, and like I said, that we were the only people that ended up bidding on it. There was another really cute little like dog basket sort of thing that had like a gift card, and it had like toys and stuff like that in there. And originally it went up to, my parents were almost bid for like $100. It was super, super cute. The basket itself, I was like, that's like $50. But like I said, it was, you know, it ended up going for $150, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. And my mom even joked too. She was like, wow, we love our for dogs, but not that much. Like, not enough to spend that much money. Tastefully Simple stuff, like I said, I absolutely loved it. I like died for it. I loved it when we had company when I was little, because that was like the #1 thing that my mom would always make, was the beer bread and the spinach dip. Those two things together were like one of the best things I think ever. And so like I said, she, you know, like, we haven't had it in years. So today too, when I saw, like, it was after the auction, then everybody started eating, and so when we went over there, I was like, that's looks like spinach dip, and that looks like very similar to beer bread. And I was like, it's funny because probably whoever, you know, ended up actually bringing, you know, they brought the dish to share for the potluck, and it was probably, again, the bread and you know, the spinach dip. It's the same, you know, like, is the mixes that were in the basket that we got. So that's how I knew. I was like, has to be like the same person probably that sells it. So anyways, yes, it was like, it was a really good time too. We got to see like Matthew's room, which me and Jack had never seen. My parents did, because they originally they didn't actually, I think, help him move in. Maybe they did, I don't know, that not the first time. I think when he actually officially moved in the first time, it wasn't up until this last summer, I think, or maybe the year even before that, but he had already been living there, I think, for maybe a year or something like that before they had seen it. And so like I said, me and Jack had never went with to like help or anything. Like, I've seen the outside of the building, like we went to go pick him up like last fall or whatever it was. We went out to eat over when we were there, and so like we've seen the outside of it, but I've never seen the inside. So we got to see his room, and you know, like I said, sort of just their hangouts, all of their, like, they have all their trophies too from like stuff that they've won. Like, they won different you know, like they have like different like sports that they play against the other like fraternities and stuff like that. So it was like, I don't know, basketball ones, or, you know, softball. I know they had a softball. They had their big one that they won from Tugs, which I think was 2 years ago. It's like a 6-foot tall trophy or something like that. And then all of their like pictures and everything was in one of the rooms, and Matthew showed us all, like I said, the different sort of rooms and stuff like that that were in there, and again around you know, their place. But it was a really fun time today, getting to go and do that. Then when we were on the way home, guys, too, I ended up actually stopping, and I'll share with you guys real quick what we ended up getting, because I told you guys that we were stopping at Walgreens, because I had that $10 in Walgreens cash that I needed to use up, because it said that it was expiring. It doesn't expire until the 1st of April, but I just didn't want to risk it, because the 31st is on Thursday. So again, if we have a weird schedule week sort of thing going on this week, I didn't want to be like, oh, let's plan on Thursday, and then it not happening and then losing $10 in Walgreens cash. And that's because it's been over a year. I think I stopped couponing like right at the end of March, or maybe the beginning or something like that of April of last year. And I think that your Walgreens cash is good for a whole year. So as long as I just keep rolling with it and stuff like that here and there and on and off, I don't have to worry about any of it expiring. But because of that, I just wanted to at least make sure that I used it up. And what I was again planning on getting, like I told you guys in Wednesday's haul, they didn't end up having. So what I ended up doing was I got the vitamins that my mom asked for, which were the like the hair, skin, and nails gummies, which has biotin and collagen. She specifically asked for a collagen gummy because she'd been taking the like Vital Proteins like protein powder. She didn't like how it tasted like in like coffee and stuff like that. My dad actually loves it, so that's what he takes. But so like I said, she got she wanted to take some of that, but she wanted to take it like again in a gummy or something like that. And so that's why I got her 2 of these, because they were on sale, buy one get one 50, or buy one get one free, and they were $10.99. and we went to just like a random Walgreens on the way back home, one that I'd never been to. We actually, I think we ended up getting the manager. He was super nice. Because when I was like, can I redeem $10 in Walgreens cash? And he's like, oh yeah, sure you can. And then I was like, he's like, oh wow, it's like, it was $1.25 or something like that we paid. So like I said, it was $1.99, buy one get one free. And so we ended up paying like $1 something with tax. And he's like, oh wow, that's a really good deal. So like I said, I ended up getting 2 of those for her, just to again use up my Walgreens cash. And then again too, I got 2 for basically the price of 1, but because I was using the Walgreens cash too, I got even, you know, better deal than that. And that was again just to use that up, because I still have, like, I started off the, you know, when I started couponing again this year, I had only like maybe 50 something dollars worth of Walgreens cash, and I'm up to 60. Right before this I had $70. So I was like, I need to use actually some of this up more often. So when there is sales like this for this kind of stuff, like again vitamins and those kind of things, if there's sales where I'm like, oh, like, you know, Jack needs a vitamin, or my dad needs a vitamin, or again just randomly sort of whatever, so long as I can get a really good deal where I'm saving at least 50% off of the item, and then use Walgreens cash on top of it, so I'm not paying a lot out of pocket, so long as again I keep rolling all of my stuff and everything like that. But that's what I'd rather do, is like whatever I have paid out of pocket for, like, you know, when I do my Walgreens haul, is fine with me, and then I just, you know, roll it over onto something like this, because again, I told you guys how it's weird, like sometimes with the subtotal, and if it's under like that threshold that I have to meet, then it won't count. So sometimes I'm scared about redeeming it. But like this, where it's like, okay, now I can just roll that money that I just earned over onto something else that we need or can use, instead of again the whole scenario sort of thing. So if it's like, oh, shampoo is, you know, like I'm gonna get $10 worth of shampoo after that for, you know, like, you know, maybe it's $30 worth of shampoo, but I could work out a deal to get it for only $10, and then I could use the $10 in Walgreens cash to cover all of that, and still wind up, you know, earning the cash that I earned from, you know, like earlier in the week deals sort of stuff. Also too, guys, this was the basket of all the Tastefully Simple stuff. Like I said, it's garlic seasoning. This is the spinach and herb seasoning, which I believe this is how you make the like the spinach dip, I think. Possibly. They had 2 different, one is like a mango grill sauce, and then this one is the garlic parmesan wing sauce, and then there's also butterscotch brownie mix. My mom's made something that they had like with a like dip sort of thing, like preserve, that you could do over like cream cheese. I remember her doing that with, like, you know, you can do it with like crackers or chips or whatever, and she still does that a lot with just like store-bought stuff. But Tastefully Simple was like the first kind that she ever like tried it with, and so like I said, I knew that they had that, and then also to these other different types of one, and this one is the one that I'm most excited about. I also feel like maybe I have had this apple cake mix before too, because it seems really familiar to me, and then on top of that too, it also had this like frozen drink, like peach frozen drink mix also. So like I said, that was the whole basket worth of stuff, plus the basket on top of that too, which honestly, guys, this is the stinking cutest basket for like garden picking. Like, we don't have any that are nice big sort of size like this with a handle. I am actually, the basket is sort of also maybe almost as much in love as I am with the beer bread mix. So anyways, guys, yes, that was what we ended up doing. Then when we came back home, honestly, my mom was exhausted because she has been out, you know, she was out working, and like, you know, last night, her nighttime shift training, and on top of that too, like, I didn't get much sleep last night actually. I was pretty tired too, so, and my mom ran over to the neighbors too, and checked on their cats and fed them and took care of all of their droppings, I guess, their litter box. And so she was over there today because our neighbors left, so we are, like I said, cat sitting as well. And then again, we have tomorrow, and then next week my mom is working every day next week. She has to have so many hours of training in, also too, so like that's why. And then she should go to like her normal, what will be her normal schedule and everything. But Jack's on spring break too this week, so like I said, there's a lot of just sort of random stuff going on this week. But again, we are going to the grocery stores tomorrow. That was the other thing that I had to finish, was my grocery list for Jewel. But like I said, I'm happy with my little Walgreens haul. At least, you know, again, I checked too because it was telling me, like, I really like that it tells you, it notifies you. It was like, you have $9.80 something worth of rewards that were gonna expire. I think is what it told me. And I was like, okay, like, you know, at least now I know that I have to use it up before the first of the month. So that's how, like I said, I knew that that was the deal I wanted to do, and was, again, to cover that. Again, I wanted to do that other deal with the Nature Made, like I was telling you guys the other day, but they don't carry that apparently in stores, and bummed me out a little bit. But again, this was something that my mom specifically did ask for, so that's why I ended up getting her that. And she's got a good, you know, supply for a while. I think you take 2 of these at a time, but it's an 80 count, so I got, you know, 2 bottles of 80, so that's 80 days in total that she has it for, so that's a good long while. Like, you know, a little over 2 months really worth. So she should be good for a while. But again, it's all that, you know, just buy the stuff when it's the best sale. You know, again, if I have rewards or anything like that that's expiring, just cover when I can, you know, any of that kind of stuff too. And like I said, get the best deals as possible. Anyway, so I will see you guys on tomorrow's vlog with a haul. But if you guys did enjoy today's vlog, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.